gonna read. Mr. Putter and Tabby ring the bell. Crispy fall. It was fall. Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby loved fall. Mr. Putter liked the apples. Tabby liked the leaves. They both liked the crispy wind. And sometimes their neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry, brought them rhubarb truffle. They really liked that. Fall was fun. The school bell. One day, while Mr. Putter was raking leaves and Tabby was attacking leaves, they heard the school bell ring. Dong, dong, dong. Mr. Putter stopped raking. He looked at Tabby. I missed school, said Mr. Putter. I missed pencils and books. Tabby stopped attacking. She purred. I miss globes and erasers, said Mr. Putter. Dong, dong, dong. When the bell, I would like to go back to school, said Mr. Putter, just for one day. Just then, Mrs. Teaberry's good dog Zack ran by. Zack was wearing half a cake on his head. The other half was inside Zack. Mr. Putter looked at Zack. Mr. Putter looked at Tabby. I have an idea, said Mr. Putter. Tabby purred and purred. She loved Mr. Putter's ideas. Mrs. Teaberry. Mr. Putter knocked on Mrs. Teaberry's door. Zack stood beside Tabby. All of the cake was now inside Zack. Mrs. Teaberry opened the door. There you are, she said. Yes, here I am, said Mr. Putter. No, I meant Zack, said Mrs. Teaberry. He stole the banana cake. That was banana cake? asked Mr. Putter. Mr. Putter looked sad. I love banana cake, he said. So does Zack, said Mrs. Teaberry. Everyone looked at Zack. Zack looked happy. Zack looked fun. Zack looked surely. Mrs. Teaberry, said Mr. Putter, I have an idea. Oh, good, said Mr. Teaberry. I love ideas. Do you love globes and erasers? asked Mr. Putter. Pardon me, said Mrs. Teaberry. Mr. Putter began telling her his ideas. Tabby purred and purred. Pet tricks. The first grade teacher at the school thought it was a lovely idea. Show and tell, she said to Mrs. Teaberry on the phone. What a good idea! The children love cats and dogs. Do yours do tricks? Mrs. Teaberry looked at Zack. He was wearing his water bowl. Sort of, said Mrs. Teaberry. Wonderful, said the teacher. Come right over. Mrs. Teaberry called Mr. Putter. It worked, she said. We're going to school. Hooray, said Mr. Putter. But the teacher wants pet tricks, said Mrs. Teaberry. Pet tricks? asked Mr. Putter. He looked at Tabby, who was napping in the soup pot. Oh no, said Mr. Putter. Tabby knew how to nap. Tabby knew how to purr. But could Tabby do tricks? Show and tell. Mr. Potter and Tabby and Mrs. Teaberry and Zach walked to the school. They stepped through the door. "It smells just like school," said Mr. Potter. They found the first grade room. Mrs. Teaberry straightened Zach's tie. Mr. Potter patted Tabby's head when they went in. Mr. Potter was in heaven. It was a room filled with books and pencils and globes and erasers, and best of all, children. The teacher told the children that Tabby and Zach could do tricks. Everyone waited. Tabby purred. Zach scratched his tie. No one did a trick. "Oh no," said Mr. Potter. "Oh dear," said Mrs. Teaberry. Suddenly, the school bell began to ring. Dong! It was loud. Tabby jumped straight up in the air. She leaned on the little girl's lap on the front row. The little girl screamed. Dong! Zach jumped straight up in the air. He landed in a box of cupcakes. "Don't eat all the cupcakes," the teacher yelled. Dong! Zach ate all the cupcakes. Then Zach did a trick. It was a good trick. Tabby did it too. It was a disappearing trick. And that was the end of show and tell. The worst ever. Back home, Mr. Potter made tea for Mrs. Teaberry. While Tabby and Zach napped, they looked at Zach. His tie was full of cupcake. They looked at Tabby. Her tail was quite festive. Mr. Potter smiled. Mrs. Teaberry smiled. Then they started laughing. It had been the worst show and tell ever, but they were happy. Mr. Potter got to go to school, and Tabby and Zach learned a few new tricks. Dear first graders, sorry about show and tell. Please accept our cupcakes and apologies. Yours truly, Mrs. Teaberry and Mr. Potter.